it feels like everyone was talking about Gabby Petito back in 2021.
Yeah, for sure.
It was just everywhere, right?
It really was.
And then with that Netflix docuseries, American Murder, the Gabby Petito story, it kind of brought it all back.
Front and center again, yeah.
Exactly.
It was really interesting to see that, that docuseries was so popular, It debuted at #1.
Oh, wow.
It had millions and millions of views.
It really captured people.
And it resonated globally.
But the story didn't end there, did it?
Right, exactly.
And that's what we're going to deep dive into today.
Yeah.
Gabby Petito's family didn't just, disappear when the cameras went away.
No, they didn't.
They've actually been super active.
Yeah.
And turned their tragedy into something.
Into something really powerful.
So powerful, yeah.
They've been amazing, actually.
So to really, get into what they're doing, we need to touch on the case itself.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure you probably remember the basics.
But
just to, set the stage for us.
Okay, so it was August 2021 when Gabby Petito and her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, were on this cross-country van trip.
Right.
And things took a really dark turn in Moab, Utah.
Moab, yeah.
When there was this domestic violence incident between them. And the police actually did get involved.
Right.
But ultimately, the couple was allowed to continue their journey.
Wow.
Which is, pretty crazy when you think about it.
And then just a couple weeks later, Gabby disappeared.
Right.
And it became this massive national story.
Yeah.
Everyone was looking for her.
I remember that. It was just everywhere.
It was impossible to escape it.
Absolutely.
And for Gabby's parents and step-parents, it was just this agonizing wait for answers.
Yeah.
They were pleading for information.
Right.
But there were, delays and missed opportunities in the police response.
Definitely.
Which I can't imagine how much that amplified their pain.
It must have been just awful.
Awful.
Yeah.
And then, tragically, Gabby's body was found in Wyoming.
Right.
Ruled a homicide.
Yeah.
And Brian Laundrie had disappeared.
Right.
And a federal arrest warrant was issued.
Mm-hmm.
And then a month later, his remains were found.
Yeah.
And it was determined he had taken his own life.
It's such a sad and complex story.
It's just heartbreaking.
On top of the grief and all the unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Gabby's family was dealing with lawsuits against the Laundrie family, too.
Oh, my God.
Just adding another layer to this incredible burden.
Yeah. That's a lot.
It's unimaginable.
And here's where things get interesting.
Okay.
They decided to settle those lawsuits.
Wow.
It wasn't about, letting go of justice.
Right.
But it was about choosing to focus their energy elsewhere on something they felt would really honor Gabby's memory.
They said settling the lawsuits was this huge weight was lifted off their shoulders.
Wow.
And it allowed them to dedicate themselves fully to the Gabby Petito Foundation.
Wow.
And that's really where their commitment to turning pain into purpose just shines through.
I'm really curious to hear more about this foundation.
Yeah, me too.
So they launched this foundation in Gabby's name.
Right.
What's the big picture here?
Well, the Gabby Petito Foundation has a few core aims. They really focus on providing support and resources to families, who have experienced similar tragedies.
So providing a lifeline when...
Exactly. When it feels like the whole world's crashing down.
Yeah.
But they're also, looking at the bigger picture, advocating for legal reforms to address the systemic issues that contribute to these situations.
So it's not just comforting families in crisis, but
it's about preventing future tragedies.
I see. So they're pushing for tangible change.
Exactly.
How?
Well, for example, in Utah, they were really instrumental in getting the Domestic Violence Amendments Bill passed, or SB 117.
117, okay.
And this bill actually reshaped how law enforcement conducts lethality assessments in domestic violence situations.
Okay, so break that down for me.
Yeah.
What are lethality assessments?
Yeah, so it's basically a series of questions that officers use to determine the level of danger someone faces in a domestic violence situation.
Gotcha.
And Gabby's case, tragically really highlighted how crucial those assessments are.
Right.
And how they can sometimes, fall short.
Right. Yeah.
So this new law, really spurred by the foundation's efforts, aims to make those assessments more accurate and effective.
And hopefully prevent.
Exactly. Hopefully prevent more tragedies from happening.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop there, did it?
No, it didn't.
This law went beyond Utah.
Yeah, so it was later adopted in Florida as well.
Wow.
And there's another piece of legislation the foundation was super involved in, the Gabby Petito Act,
Okay.
SB 1224 in Florida.
Gotcha.
And this one overhauled missing person protocols based on the family's own experience navigating that system.
It must have been so frustrating for them,
Absolutely.
dealing with all those delays and roadblocks while searching for Gabby.
Absolutely. It's just heartbreaking to think about.
So this act is about making sure other families don't face those same obstacles.
Exactly. They're using their platform to make real, concrete change. And it goes beyond legislation, too.
Okay.
They're also tackling the issue of media coverage disparities
Oh, yeah.
for missing persons of color.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
You always hear about how missing white women get so much more attention than
Wow.
missing people of color.
It's a real imbalance.
So how are they addressing that?
Well, they've actually partnered with organizations like the Black and Missing Foundation,
Okay.
working to raise awareness and support families who haven't received that same media spotlight.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they've even been present at the sentencing of murderers
Yep.
in cases that received far less attention than Gabby's, you know?
Wow.
They're using their platform to amplify those voices to make sure those stories don't get lost.
That's really powerful.
It is.
So it's incredible how far their reach extends.
Yeah,
They're fighting for change on so many fronts.
they really are.
But they haven't lost sight of Gabby as a person, have they?
No, not at all.
It's easy to focus on the tragedy and forget the individual behind the headlines.
Right, and the foundation is really focused on preserving Gabby's memory and sharing who she was beyond this case.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about her love for travel, her artistic talents, her vibrant personality. It's about, painting a complete picture of her life, not just focusing on how it ended.
It's like they're reclaiming her story,
Yeah,
showing us the beautiful, multifaceted person she was.
exactly. And reminding everyone that behind every headline, there's a real person with hopes and dreams.
With loved ones who are grieving.
Exactly. It makes it much harder to just dismiss these stories as just another news item.
And that's where their message becomes so powerful, I think. They're not just advocating for change,
Yeah. Right.
but they're encouraging everyone to live their lives with intention, with kindness, like Gabby did. So it's about turning tragedy into action.
Yes.
Not just for systemic change, but for personal growth, too.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, this horrible thing happened, but we're going to make something good come out of it.
Exactly.
That's incredible strength.
It really is. And they're very clear about the message they want to send to anyone who's been touched by Gabby's story.
What is that message?
It's about taking action, in our own lives and in the world.
So what does that look like? Like, what are they actually asking people to do?
Well, Gabby's mother, Nicole Schmidt,
Okay.
she talks about drawing inspiration from Gabby's fearless spirit. And she really encourages everyone to live life to the fullest.
Okay.
To embrace adventure.
Yeah.
To embody those things we loved most about those who are gone.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And it's such a powerful way to keep their memory alive.
Yeah.
To let their spirit live on through us.
Right. It's not about dwelling in sadness. It's
Right.
about finding a way to channel it into something positive.
Exactly. And Gabby's stepfather, Jim Schmidt, he adds another layer to that.
Wow.
He reminds us to cherish the small moments, to be present in our lives.
Yeah.
Because we never know what tomorrow is going to bring.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life,
For sure.
He's really urging us to slow down and appreciate the people around us, savor those everyday moments that we often take for granted.
Such a good reminder.
It is.
Especially in the face of a tragedy like this.
Right.
It makes you realize how precious life is.
Yeah.
And how important it is to just make the most of every day.
And finally, Nicole Schmidt, she leaves us with this call to choose empathy and kindness every day.
Okay.
And she reminds us that everyone is fighting their own battles.
Yeah.
We never really know what someone else might be going through.
Right.
And she said Gabby lived her life with empathy and kindness. And that's a legacy worth carrying forward.
It's a beautiful way to honor her memory.
It really is.
It's like making the world a little kinder, a little more understanding, one interaction at a time.
It really speaks to the heart of what the Petito family is trying to achieve,
Yeah.
They've taken this unimaginable loss and turned it into this force for good, a ripple of positive change that extends far beyond just the headlines of this case.
It's really inspiring. It makes you think, what can I do to make a difference?
And there are so many ways to answer that.
Yeah.
You can support the Gabby Petito Foundation directly, or you can simply commit to living with more awareness, more empathy, more kindness in your own life.
And if you or someone you know is struggling with relationship abuse, please know that you're not alone. There are resources out there.
Absolutely.
The Gabby Petito Foundation website has a great list. And there's also wannatalkaboutit.com, which offers support and information.
Reaching out is never a sign of weakness.
Right.
It's a sign of strength.
So if you're feeling inspired by Gabby's story and you want to learn more or get involved, definitely check out the Gabby Petito Foundation website.
Absolutely.
It's been a privilege to delve into this with you today.
It really has. It's been great.
And for all of you listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the legacy of Gabby Petito.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you'll carry her story with you. And remember that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope.
There is.
And always the potential for positive change.
Amen.